Hello, and welcome to today's briefing. I'm Dana, and I'm joined by Matt.
Hi, Dana. Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
Let's start with some breaking news in the world of politics.
What's the latest on that story?
Congressman Ro Khanna said he was detained by Israeli settlers armed with U.S.-made rifles during a West Bank visit. The incident occurred while he was observing the human impact of the Israeli occupation.
That's quite serious. How did the situation resolve?
According to Khanna, he was released after calls were made to the American embassy in Jerusalem. The Israeli Defense Forces denied detaining any visitors during the incident.
I see. So there's a bit of a discrepancy between Khanna's account and the IDF's response. Did Khanna provide any more details about the detention?
The reports say that members of the Israel Defense Forces spoke with the settlers and moved a car to block the road, but Khanna still felt detained. He's been quite vocal about his observations of the Israeli occupation.
Right, and this isn't the first time there have been tensions between Israeli settlers and visiting lawmakers. What's the broader context here? Is this part of a larger trend?
Khanna's visit was cast as an unfiltered look at the human toll of the Israeli occupation. He's also been mentioned in the context of weighing a 2028 presidential run, so this incident might draw more attention given his potential candidacy.
That adds another layer. Do we know how the U.S. government has responded to this incident?
The articles mention that Khanna was released after calls to the American embassy, but there's no detailed statement from the U.S. government on the matter yet.
Okay, let's move on to another story that's been making headlines.
Former President Trump has made a significant warning to Iran, stating that 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded if Iran attempts to assassinate him.
That's a pretty strong statement. What's the background to this warning?
The warning came after the funeral of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei saw open calls for Trump's killing. Trump made these comments on his Truth Social platform.
So this is a response to perceived threats from Iran. How has Iran responded to Trump's statement?
The articles don't mention a direct response from Iran, but they do indicate that tensions in the region are escalating.
This kind of rhetoric can significantly heighten tensions. Do we know if there are any specific actions the U.S. is taking in response to these perceived threats?
The reports focus on Trump's statement and the context of the funeral, but they don't detail specific U.S. actions.
All right, let's switch gears a bit.
A federal judge has dismissed the remnants of the government's case against far-right Proud Boys members who were convicted of seditious conspiracy. This came after Trump granted broad clemency to some involved.
That's an interesting development. What were the circumstances surrounding the clemency and the dismissal?
The Proud Boys members were convicted for plotting to attack the Capitol. Trump's clemency action essentially ended the government's case against the remaining defendants.
So the clemency was quite broad, effectively shutting down the case. How has this decision been received?
The articles don't go into detail about public or political reactions, but it's clear that this is a significant legal and political development.
Okay, let's move on to some other news.
At least 10 people, including a child, were injured in an overnight Russian missile and drone attack on Kyiv. Ukraine's state emergency service reported explosions and fires across the city.
That's concerning. What's the latest on the situation in Kyiv?
The reports indicate that the attacks caused significant damage and injuries, but there's no mention of fatalities in the articles.
Have there been any responses from the Ukrainian government or international community?
The articles focus on the immediate aftermath and the damage caused, but they don't detail specific responses from the Ukrainian government or international community.
All right, let's shift to some economy-related news.
Apple has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging the theft of trade secrets. The lawsuit claims OpenAI poached Apple employees and extracted confidential information.
That sounds like a serious allegation. What's the context of this lawsuit?
The lawsuit paints a picture of OpenAI aggressively trying to build its own device by stealing Apple's confidential information and poaching its employees.
I see. How has OpenAI responded to these allegations?
The articles don't mention a response from OpenAI. This is a developing story, and we might see more as it unfolds.
Okay, let's continue with more economic news.
Swiggy Instamart has received 9 notices from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India due to customer complaints about contaminated and expired food products.
That's quite a few notices. What were the specific complaints?
Allegations included supplying expired, spoiled, and contaminated food products. Specific products like eggs and protein powder were found unfit for consumption.
That's concerning for consumers. How has Swiggy Instamart responded to these notices?
The reports say that Swiggy Instamart must submit a detailed report to the FSSI or face legal action. There's no mention of their immediate response or actions taken.
All right, let's move on to some other economic developments.
A proposed data center development in Butler County has moved closer to reality after the city of Trenton approved a tax abatement for tech company Prologis.
What are the implications of this development?
The approval suggests that the data center project is becoming more feasible. Data centers can have significant economic impacts, including job creation and infrastructure development.
That's interesting. Are there any concerns associated with data center developments?
While the articles don't mention specific concerns, data centers are known to consume large amounts of energy and can have environmental impacts.
Okay, let's discuss another economic story.
Federal Reserve officials are concerned about persistent inflation pressures and are considering interest rate hikes. The decision will be guided by incoming price reports.
The Fed's stance on inflation is crucial. What's the current division among Fed officials regarding rate hikes?
The committee is divided, with some officials favoring holding rates steady while others see hikes as appropriate. The central bank awaits crucial economic data to shape its next move.
That's a nuanced situation. How might the rate decision impact the broader economy?
Rate hikes can help control inflation, but might slow economic growth. The Fed's decision will likely be closely watched by markets and economists.
All right, let's switch to some sports news.
South Africa midfielder Jaden Adams has died at the age of 25, just weeks after representing his country at the World Cup.
That's tragic news. What are the circumstances surrounding his death?
The articles don't disclose a cause of death. The news was confirmed by South Africa's Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie.
Losing a young talent is always shocking. How has the football community reacted?
The reports mention that South Africa has lost one of its brightest young talents, indicating a significant loss for the sport.
Okay, let's move on to some other sports news.
Linda Noskova has won her first Grand Slam title at Wimbledon, coming back from a dramatic second-set collapse where she wasted 5 match points.
Wow, that's an incredible story. What happened during that second set?
Noskova was up 6-2, 5-7, and had multiple match points, but she faced a strong comeback from Karolina Machova, eventually winning 6-2, 5-7, 6-3.
That's a remarkable turnaround. How did Noskova manage to recover from that meltdown?
The articles don't go into her mental preparation or strategy, but it's clear she showed great resilience to win the final set.
That's an inspiring story. Let's move on to some entertainment news.
Randolph Mantooth, known for his role as Johnny Gage in the NBC drama Emergency, has died at the age of 80 after a prolonged battle with cancer.
What was Mantooth's significance in the series?
His portrayal of a firefighter-paramedic helped transform public awareness of emergency medical services. The show was groundbreaking in its portrayal of first responders.
That's a notable legacy. How has his death been received by fans and colleagues?
The articles mention that Mantooth had a remarkable career spanning 5 decades and was an advocate for first responders, indicating a significant impact on his field.
Okay, let's discuss some other news.
A speedboat carrying 36 people, mostly Indian tourists, capsized off Vietnam's Phu Quoc Island, resulting in at least 15 deaths.
That's a tragic incident. What were the circumstances of the capsizing?
The vessel was carrying 32 Indian tourists, 3 crew members, and 1 attendant when it overturned. The articles don't provide a cause for the accident.
Have there been any responses from the Vietnamese authorities or the Indian government?
The articles focus on the immediate aftermath and the number of casualties, but they don't detail specific responses from the authorities or governments involved.
All right, let's move on to some more news.
The death toll from the twin earthquakes in Venezuela has reached 4,333, with thousands injured. The National Assembly President, George Rodriguez, provided the updated figures.
That's a devastating toll. What's the latest on the relief efforts?
The articles don't go into detail about the relief efforts, but they indicate that the situation is severe with significant loss of life and injuries.
Okay, let's discuss one more story.
Heavy rainfall in Missouri caused significant flooding, forcing the evacuation of over 200 children from a summer camp using Black Hawk helicopters.
That's a dramatic rescue. What's the current situation regarding the flooding?
1 person remains missing, and numerous emergency rescues and evacuations were conducted. The flooding has had a significant impact on the region.
All right, I think that's a good point to wrap up today's briefing. Thanks for joining me, Dana.
Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure discussing these stories with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.